Okay, to use the foam roller to stretch your upper back and shoulders, you can sit at the edge of the foam roller, position your tailbone right at the edge, and then lay back. Make sure you have your head supported if you need to. Once you're in this position, you could scoot down towards your feet if you need to. Give yourself a hug, and then nice and easy, just roll a little bit side to side, massaging between your shoulder blades and on either side of the spine. Good. You can then add a little bit more stretch to the shoulder by putting your hands behind your head and letting your elbows relax towards the floor. Take a deep breath in, exhale, bring your elbows back up, lower them back down, and then repeat. Good. Now we'll show another position where you can stretch your spine. So you can sit on the floor, position the foam roller behind you, and then what you're going to do is you're going to lift your hips up and kind of roll your spine along the foam roller, whatever's comfortable. Good. Be careful not to go too low on the back. This is really for the upper back segments where you have ribs. Just what's comfortable. So you can do that. You can also rest your hips back down. Go ahead and take your hands back behind your head to support the neck again. And then you can slightly arch your back over the foam roller, getting a little bit of stretch into extension, then almost like a little sit up to relieve the pressure. And then you can adjust the foam roller position and repeat that several segments. Just make sure that you do support your head as you drop back and you're in control. This shouldn't be painful, just a slight little stretch. Couple minutes is all you need. For a little bit of core stability, you can lay vertically on the foam roller again, reach your arms straight to the ceiling, and then what we're going to do is take one arm and reach overhead, thinking about making the arm nice and long, and then you'll come back and you'll switch with the other side, getting a little stretch through the whole trunk and the shoulder. So you can repeat that motion several times on each side. You can also turn this into a stability exercise by moving your legs. So you can leave your arms where they're at, bring one knee up, and then back down, and then the other knee up, back down, and just continue to repeat that without losing your balance on the foam roller. Start by sitting on the ball, walk your feet away so the ball rolls underneath you so that you're in a bridge position with your back on the ball. Support your head with your hands and then just allow your back to stretch over the ball. Again, getting a little bit of an extension stretch after being at the computer. You can also lift your elbows towards the ceiling and then drop them out to the side, stretching through the shoulders. And just repeat that several times. To add a little bit more stretch, you could take and straighten one hand just so that that arm relaxes towards the floor. You'll feel a stretch across the front of your shoulder. And again, just a few seconds on each side, enough to loosen up the shoulders. From this position, you can also start to wake up some of your stability muscles by doing a little mini crunch. Think about the work coming from your abdominals, not from pulling on your neck. So just stay nice and relaxed there and let the abdominal muscles work. And again, just a few repetitions here makes a big difference in waking up the body. To use a Theracane, you can position the ball at the end of the hook right in the muscle on the top of the shoulder. You'll feel a little knot there. Then to apply pressure, you're going to create a little bit of a downward force with your top hand while you press out with the bottom hand. And that's going to sink that ball into the muscle. Once you get that pressure and you'll feel it, you can wiggle the cane a little bit to kind of massage that trigger point. You could also just ever so slightly tip your head side to side to create a little stretch in that muscle that you're working. Or the third option is you could just wiggle your shoulder a little bit, just a nice little small little motion, loosening up in that trigger point. Now you can slide down a little lower between your shoulder blades, and you can do the same thing. You're just going to apply a little downward force with the top hand and a little outward force with the left hand in this case, and then just kind of work through those trigger points there. You can also get the back of the shoulder. So if you come around the side, you'll feel it. There's about 3 big trigger points back there. Once you get it, again, you're gonna push out and down to kind of sink that ball into the muscle. Then just wiggle that cane a little bit and you'll feel that trigger point. You can also sit and take that Theracane and rub it down the side of a tight muscle while sitting, like so. You can use a tiger tail ball to massage the inside edge of your shoulder blade by positioning the ball along the shoulder blade, between the shoulder blade and the spine. Then you'll turn and put your back on a wall. And you can just gently lean back into the wall, putting pressure into those trigger points. You can slightly bend and straighten your legs, just changing the position of the ball just ever so slightly to kind of work up and down. If you need to reposition the ball to get a different trigger point, you can just step off the wall and allow the top string to be a little bit longer and then lean back against the wall and repeat the same thing. So this works all along the shoulder blade, all along the paraspinals to get that tension along there. We can also work the outside of your shoulder. So in that one, if you position the ball between you and the wall, so it'll be on your shoulder blade, you're gonna turn about a 30-degree turn off of the wall, and then you can kind of work back and forth again along the edge of that shoulder blade and those trigger points there. Okay, you can use a small golf ball to loosen up the muscles of your forearm by just putting the ball underneath your forearm, and you can just roll back and forth over those flexor muscles. You can go all the way down by the wrist, and then you can just reposition the ball if you need to so that you can get closer to the elbow. And you can just work all along there. You can do the same thing for the other side by just turning palm up and doing the same thing, kind of rubbing along those trigger points the whole length of your forearm. To massage your hands, you can take that little golf ball, put it between both hands, and just roll it around in your palms, loosening up those muscles in the hands. Okay, so you can do some forearm stretching with the arm to be stretched out in front of you. Grasp it with your other hand and gently pull back to stretch the bottom side of your forearm. If you're not feeling much stretch, you can slide up on your fingertips a little bit, and you'll get a little bit more of your finger muscles as well, and apply that stretch. Then to stretch the other side, just stay right there, let the wrist drop down, grab hold with the other side, and just a gentle little stretch this way. Good, and relax.